I forgot to put these on because, hello, I'm in mourning.
As we go on, we
Copyright! Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very upsetting, distressing, and very, very saddening episode of The Cup TV, part of the Currently Unnamed Podcast Network, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. I am very upset today. Today is a day of sadness, a day of mourning, a day very upsetting to all fans of New Zealand icons. A day that it will go down in infamy. A day that may have ruined the game of certain icons of Survivor. We have yet to see, but I'm very upset today, and that's all. I'm just very, very upset today. So that's all.
F's in the chat for Logan. He needs support. Hi everybody. I'm Brooke and I'm passionate about pop culture. I'm living my best life as much as I
How dare you?
Maybe the only one saying that. I'm living my
How
best
dare
life.
you?
Wait, how very dare I? Yes. It's not my fault that she got
bamboozled and hoodwinked.
And now I'm very happy.
She did nothing of the sort. Lisa did nothing wrong.
Well,
Lisa is innocent. Lisa did nothing wrong. Lisa is an innocent party. I am now Lisa's defense attorney. Lisa is an innocent party. Do not blame Lisa. I will not accept any Lisa slander in this podcast today. Thank you.
There's no slander. She just got... Did she get flim-flam, bamboozled, or hoodwinked? I think flim-flam.
None of the above. She got caught up in absolute bullshit.
I think flim-flam is the most appropriate word because I think she got flim-flam by Tommy, and that's where we're at now. Unfortunately, I love Lisa. I love Lisa Down. We'll talk about more in the episode. But I'm very happy because as the CEO of the Parvati Shallow fan club, our stocks just keep rising week over week. Like, I could not be happier at this point.
Are they?
Yes.
I disagree.
We'll talk about it, Diva. Oh, and I'm drinking water.
And hi, my name is Jack. I'm the resident game designer of the panel, and apparently the neutral party today in terms of emotions. Like, on one hand, we've got very, very upset. The camera's flipped. Very, very upset. And on the other hand, we have very, very elated. And I've been depressed since the wolf went out yesterday, and but I'm also still rooting for Sari. But I am basically rooting for everyone except Luke, which means I'm always going to lose. But at the same time, I'm always going to win. So basically, I'm okay at the moment, and that means that I'm going to get destroyed by both parties today.
No, Diva, I'm happy for you.
Oh, I'm also in mourning because we lost our fabulous Quebecois icon yesterday, so I'm still in mourning also because of that.
That's fair. Myself, I was quite sad by that one myself. I must admit.
Yes,
I love Lisa Down. Don't get me wrong. I'm just happy that Parva's still here because I really thought there was a chance she was going home this week. So, or this episode, I should say. We get 3 a week.
Yeah.
So, living my best life in London.
For this week. But yes, we are here. It is episode 8 of Australian Survivor versus the World. I'm finally here to host one. Ooh, how fun. Ooh.
Yeah.
I had to. I hijacked the hosting today because
non-threatening.
Non-threatening. hijacking because I'm upset.
Hi, Jack.
We'll talk about why. Before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things competitive reality TV. As we close out this lovely, wonderful week of Australian Survivor versus the World, it is almost done. But don't worry, we've got a ton of other Survivor things in the works here soon. Survivor 49 is coming very, very shortly. Make sure to check out our cast assessment if you have not already. Our draft video will be coming very, very soon for that as well, so stay tuned for that. Our Survivor 50 reaction videos are live as of today on Patreon as well, finally. Figured it was a good time to drop those finally, and by a good time I mean I finally got around to editing 4 hours of footage of that. So those will be live on this channel as well, but they've gone up for early access over on Patreon, so make sure to go check out all of that content. So we've got that, we've got Big Brother, we've got Amazing Race featuring Big Brother. So we've got a ton of content here at the Cup TV as always. So subscribe here, subscribe all across the Cup Network. We are on a mission to hit 1,000 new subscribers across all of our channels by the end of the year, and your support means the world to us. So thank you very, very much. And we've got a ton of new fun TV content going up as Patreon exclusives coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for those. I will be talking about them here on the channel a little bit. So if you are interested in Traders Ireland, we will be talking about that a little bit over on the Patreon as well. So stay tuned for that. Check out our social media as well at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. You can go follow the three of us as well. Those links are in the description, and you can go get your merch, LanaGCreations.etsy.com. We do ship domestically and internationally, so there are no excuses. Brazil, we're still working on it, sorry. But
And Brooke, we're still shipping it over there.
Yep.
But we start this episode on the heels of the wild double tribal that no one knew was coming. Where we really said, fuck the finish and fuck the Quebecois. I'm still upset. And Lisa said, yeah, my game is over.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was very much a, oh, well, Lisa sunk her game at that tribal trying to quit to save Tommy. She now either gets to the end and receives no votes, or she goes out because at some point because everyone needs filler. And that sucks for Lisa because, I mean, I think we all love her. And her move in particular makes a lot of sense of, look, I'm not going to be able to get to the end currently. I'd rather give someone else the chance to get to the end and boost someone else up and then become a juror for them. So I don't know if it's just different rules in New Zealand on juries and quitting, but
it's been inconsistent over the years with Survivor itself as to how things will work. Sometimes quits will cancel a tribal council. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes we don't really know. What I can say is, I know I'm about to get a lot of shit from the panel for saying this. She did it to herself. And I know that someone on this panel does not agree with that sentiment. Okay. But when I really think about it, right?
Hi, I'm someone.
Yeah, okay. Here's my thing with Lisa. From the last episode, she didn't double check with Tommy as to who the votes he had were. Didn't go to these people and said, hey, are you voting for Parvati? Or other than just going to them and saying, hey, we're voting for Parvati. We have the numbers. Get on board. I'm not doing it was also a major mistake. Why would she tell someone, hey, we're all doing this? I'm not doing it, but we're all doing this. That made her look so shady and duplicitous for no reason. And then the entirety of both tribal councils, Lisa was not defending herself well. Lisa was not explaining herself very well. especially when you consider that her and Parvati have, for all intents and purposes, been working together the entire game. She had options that she could have used to rebuild something with Parvati at Tribal and said, hey, look, Tommy can't, like what she did at the beginning of the episode is what she should have done at Tribal. But because she didn't do it, she put herself in the situation where now Suri trusts her still, but Parvati doesn't trust her. And Suri is going to be loyal to Parvati, who is in a better position in the game than more loyal to her than she is to Suri. She is to Lisa. That's just the way it is. Lisa had like 3 or 4 different chances to steer away from the situation, and she continually turned into the skid to the point where she just kept spinning. And now, after the Tribal, where she tried to quit, which makes her look even worse, even though, granted, I know why she did it, and I'm not saying her decision is not at least intentionally valid. But her trying to do that and then ended up staying in the game is only going to make her win equity plummet. And it's also going to make people just not really want to work with her because they don't know where her head's at and they don't know that they can trust her. I'm not going to say that she put herself in the position in the first place to do this to herself. That's Tommy's fault. But at the same time, she should have talked more to Tommy before she goes to Luke, Janine, and Shawnee and tries to get them to vote for Parvati and tells them she's not doing it.
Okay.
Like, I feel bad because I love Lisa. Lisa's one of my favorite parts of this entire season. And she is also one of the most relatable people I have ever seen on Survivor. I would freak the fuck out if I was playing Survivor with Suri too. But at the end of the day, she put herself in this position by not pivoting at any point. I feel for her, but it's the truth.
I see where you're coming from. I do. I'm going to take it back a couple of notches here. Because I see exactly, I see where you're coming from. I agree with a lot of where you're coming from with that. But I'm going to take it back a couple of moves even, because the World Tribe has been in the majority now for a couple of votes here. Where has Lisa been included in the last couple of moves as a genuine member of the World Tribe decisions other than just a vote? She hasn't been. At this point, Lisa has kind of just been strung along as a number for both the pair of Cass and Tommy and the pair of Suri and Parvati. And at this point, I see where Lisa's frustrations are. She's being, in this vote specifically, she's just being told where the votes are going. And all of a sudden, she's being told by Tommy, oh, we're shifting the vote. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we're doing that. That's why she makes this move. That's why she makes this move and goes to Luke and Janine and Shawnee. I see the move. I understand the move. So then, to get absolutely blindsided by Luke at Tribal Council and to get all of the blame shifted onto her in that moment, she shut down. So I understand completely why she didn't say anything, because she completely shut down. And then to compound onto that, the fact that we go into this live Tribal, not a single person pulled Lisa for a conversation in the live Tribal. Lisa pulled Parvati for the conversation. That is the only conversation Lisa was involved in either of the live Tribal councils. That's gotta hurt. I understand completely why Lisa was like, I don't care at this point, to be honest with you. Like, I don't love people that want to quit. I see it. I understand it. Having not played Survivor, I can't understand that fully. But at that point, when your name is just literally being slandered at this point, at a Tribal Council, in front of everyone, in front of the jury, no one's pulling you for conversations in the middle of this live Tribal, and now everyone thinks you're this liar, I understand why she just completely shut down and wanted to quit. I see it completely. And I don't blame her at all.
I don't blame her for wanting to quit, especially if she thought, if I quit, Tommy is going to stay in this game. And Tommy did have win equity. And, you know, when he got voted out, he definitely is in a better place than she is, even if he's the primary target moving forward. I get where she's coming from, and I am never going to tell somebody that their reaction to a situation is bad in terms of, like, emotionally. But in terms of the game, she did not respond the way that she needed to. So, like, in the sense of she froze and she panicked, I get it. I feel you. I relate. Like, I understand. Yeah. But for her game, she could not have froze. She had to just be able to be in that moment, and she wasn't, unfortunately.
But what conversations is she supposed to put herself into in that scenario, honestly? Like, no one's going to want to listen to her at that point. Like, I understand that point for sure, but what conversations is she supposed to try to approach at that point? Because she's not going to go to Luke at that point because he just slandered her name in front of everybody. She could try to go to Janine and or Shawnee, but they're both at that point so intertwined with Luke that it doesn't make sense. She could try to go to Parv and Sari, but at that point, Parv doesn't really trust her. She could try to go to Sari, but Sari is only really talking to Parv at this point. She does the one move that kind of does make sense, which is just pull Parv. And at this point, in the first vote, Cass just gets voted out of nowhere, and then she does the one thing that she can do, which is just talk to Tommy. So, like, honest to God, in that scenario, I think she did everything she could have in both of those tribals. I don't really know if there was anything else Lisa could have done in those moments, to be honest with you. I think, and could there have been other things she could have done in that moment? Yes. There probably are. But I don't know if there is anything else that would have helped, honestly.
Put herself in that situation in the first place.
But she didn't put herself in that situation.
But she did, in a way.
No, she did not.
Okay, so Tommy comes to her and says...
The rest of the world tribe put her in that scenario.
Don't say the rest of the world. It was not Cass. It was Tommy. Okay? Tommy comes to her and says, hey,
Tommy,
we have the votes.
Sari, and Parvati put her in that scenario.
Logan, can I talk? I will
not include... Okay. Tommy and Parvati put her in that scenario. I'll say that then.
I don't think Parvati put her in any scenario. I think when we look at the game and look at the way everything was going, when it came to the first vote at the merge, everybody on the World Tribe was in agreement as to what to do. They split the vote between Janine and Sarah because they had 7 numbers, and they put more votes on Sarah. That was chill. When it came to blindsiding Kirby, Lisa was on board with that, and Lisa supported it, and Lisa helped contribute to the conversation. But when the target's already going where she wants to, what else does she have to do, right? And again, we're only seeing the edit. We don't really know what all is going on here outside of the edit. So I'm not blaming Parvati at all. When it comes to Tommy, yes, Tommy did tell her this information about what they were planning on doing, that they had the votes to get out Parvati. Let's get out Parvati now while we can. He did tell her that. But at the end of the day, Lisa had the option of not saying anything or approaching this conversation with the Aussies in a better way for her game. Because I don't think voting for Parvati would have been her death sentence. It was how she approached this conversation with Janine, with Luke, with Shawnee on the beach before Tribal Council. That is what sunk her game. I'm not trying to put any hate towards Lisa. I love Lisa. I have enjoyed the fuck out of her. But when it comes to coming into this vote, that was her problem. And then by that point, the only thing she could have done at that point was to try to explain what was going on. And it was too little too late either way. And she didn't do it sufficiently to explain it to get the votes back on her side. I'm not saying it's entirely her fault, but a lot of the blame does fall on her here for putting herself in this position with the Aussies to allow them to weaponize that against Parvati and Sari and drive a big wedge in between those two sides.
Fair. I don't agree with it, but I think it's a fair assessment. with all that being said, Lisa comes back and she's trying to do the best damage control she can, which is just go after Luke, which I think is probably the best case scenario for her at this point. And that's pretty much all that we see leading up to the immunity challenge.
I will say one of my favorite moments in the confessional this season is Lisa says, I've never been on the bottom before. But the fun thing about being on the bottom is I get to do all the being on the bottom tropes.
Walking on the beach, taking my
Sitting in a
rice
shelter.
last, and then you cut to Shawnee being like, is anyone else taking rice? It pisses me off how they.
And then Lisa in the shelter going, sitting in the shelter by myself, and no one's really wanting to talk to me, and then it's Parvati just going, like,
I love it. I love it so much. I'm just like, I love Lisa. I love Lisa so much. But yes,
you can tell that she is really just like a super fan, just being like, yeah, look, I know it's over, but I'm just gonna enjoy my time. Like, I'm on a beach with fucking Suri and Parvati. Like, I'm never gonna get this opportunity again. Let me just enjoy it.
I hope she does get this opportunity again.
Who knows? But we go to the immunity challenge, and oh my god, it's a flashback. Oh my god, to the time that Luke lost. And I clapped. So
we
of course,
know who's won. Okay, let's play the rest of the immunity challenge.
It's Luke.
Okay, I will say I forgot that this challenge happened originally. Like that, this version, it's a weird version of Samotion, but I don't like it as much as I like Samotion. I like Samotion a lot more. I hate that we are adding a physical element into Samotion. What are we doing? The whole point of Samotion is it's supposed to be like the most equally balanced, the single most fair immunity challenge you could possibly have. It is literally pay attention, time these balls as you pick them up and drop them in a chute. You don't got to move. You don't got to run. You don't have to do anything. This literally twists Samotion into this terrible, awful, like abstract painting of Samotion made by someone who doesn't understand the concept of what they're drawing in the first place. And now it's turned it into a physical fitness endurance challenge. Because if this were regular Samotion, Suri would have won immunity here based on the positioning of her balls. They were literally perfect. They were literally perfect the entire challenge. She couldn't do the running back and forth between the stairs and the end of the chute long enough. That's what caused her this challenge. And the fact that we could have had Suri Fields win an immunity challenge on Survivor, an individual immunity challenge on Survivor, and we lost that opportunity. Screw you, Aussie Survivor production team. Boo.
Welcome to Australian Survivor.
Yeah. How can we make a challenge that's equal, more physical? For what reason? Yeah. I don't know. I will also note, this challenge is also just harder to view because it's like, okay, at least with Samotion, there's always like a very obvious visual of where each ball is. Here, if the ball's just in the wrong spot, you're not going to see it. It's just like, it collided into something? Not visible. Sorry. You're not looking at the right angle? No. Sorry. So it just there's so many other variants that work better with this.
And the other thing I hate about this is if you mistime one of your drops, there is no way to save it here. None. And with OG Samotion, if you are fast enough, you can go and you're fine. Here, it's just not possible. And there were so many problems I had with this challenge that I need not continue ranting. I just, God, this pissed me off to no end. Luke won.
It comes down to Luke and Parvati.
And Suri.
She
got third, and I'm proud of her.
She did get third. She did pretty good. It's just that, this challenge is meant for people who can do more physical activity. And unsurprisingly, the two people who can do the most physical activity on this cast are the final two of this challenge. And then it's just, Parvati has placed the ball wrong. That's it. It's just a matter of time before, unsurprisingly, Luke wins. Yay!
Woo, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, we go back to camp and pretty straightforward, huh?
Yeah, I will say this episode, relatively compared to everything else this season, has been the most. So pretty much everything that we think is going to happen is what happens. I mean, we get a lovely conversation of Lisa trying to pivot the vote onto Janine and saying, look, everyone wants to take Janine to the end. She's probably going to make it to the end. Why don't we take her out now? And that way all of us have a better shot of making it to the final three. I agree. Good job, Lisa. Yeah. I think that's great strategy. Problem is, nobody's going to agree to it. Like, you might be able to get Shawnee and maybe Suri. But I don't think, and Luke is not doing it. Janine absolutely can't do it. And why would Parvati do it? Because Parvati doesn't care who she goes to the end with. She just has to make it there. And if you're impeding her progress on making it to the end, you're a bigger problem than someone who is actively helping her get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think all of the arguments that Lisa put up, honestly, were really valid. Just kind of the writing was on the wall and the shelter and in the ocean and the sand. And
Skywriters were honestly just doing
Skywriters.
It skulls were falling from the sky. Like, JLP was literally just saying it outright. Like, no matter who she talked to at this point, it was never going to happen. Unfortunately, it was always just going to fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
Now
the big...
I feel like you got it.
I hate it.
Yeah.
The bigger important thing that happens, which will, set up for the next couple of episodes, is the conversation between Luke and Parvati going on regarding Parvati's steal an idol, knowledge is power, but we can't call it knowledge is power because it's probably copyrighted by CBS. Advantage. And
Parvati called it knowledge is power.
Oh, did they?
She does.
Yeah, the episode she called it that. Yeah.
Oh, well, then knowledge is power.
And the only other thing... go for it, actually.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
I mean, the only thing with it is that with there being no advantages other than idols, calling it a knowledge is power is also weirdly redundant because it's like, yeah, you have a knowledge is power, which means you can steal any idol or advantage, which is just an idol. I guess it's just productive, but
sure. So, Luke decides to tell Parvati about his idol. And then gets paranoid because he's told Parvati about his idol. So then decides to ask Parvati to rip up her knowledge is power advantage in order to build trust moving into the next round of the game, which Parvati agrees to.
Yeah, I think she made the best decision she possibly could have. I think she ate this up entirely. Here's why. Okay? And at first, I had the same reaction that is currently on your face, Logan. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Parv? Like, really? But then I thought about it a little bit, right? If Parv does not take his rip apart this advantage tonight, okay? Let's say she doesn't do that, right? What is stopping Luke from grabbing Janine, grabbing Lisa, and grabbing Shawnee and convincing them that they're going to vote for Parvati, right? Have Shawnee and Lisa vote for Parvati, and then Luke and Janine vote for Suri. So even if Parvati plays her idol, Suri's going to go home on the revote, right? because Lisa can't stop a 3-1 vote happening and Sari going home on the revote. And they would have voting for Lisa anyway. So it would have been Shawnee, Luke, and Janine voting out Sari. And then we go into final 5. Parvati doesn't have an idol, so she's forced into a has to win immunity 5 and 4 situation to make it to the end game. Because then they're going to just take Lisa instead, and that doesn't really help. That doesn't help her at all. So I honestly think the best play she had here was like, I don't really need this if he trusts me and I trust him, right? Because as long as she makes it through 6, she is guaranteed 4, right? Because she has this idol that she's going to play at 5, right? So unless she is literally stealing this idol to play it at 6 and then playing her idol at 5, what's the reasoning for it? All that's going to do is make Luke want to take her out at 4 if he possibly can. This way protects her and Sari 10 times more than her keeping this advantage does, I honestly think. As much as it seems a little crazy and backwards, I just don't see the reason for her to keep it.
I see what you mean.
Yes, but also, at that point, why doesn't she just light it on fire? I mean, the obvious answer is that if Luke and Parvati think that someone else has an idol, they steal it at Final 5. Which, sure, that's the only reason Parvati doesn't go, okay, fine, I'm going to light this on fire.
Yep.
There's no point beyond that, at least, where it's like, the only person this directly protects is Luke. And yes, this allows him, basically allows for either the pair of Parvati and Sari or the pair of Luke and Janine to be 100% safe next round. There's no question. If one of whoever wins immunity between the pair, the other one just gets idled. And that's a fact. Okay, so then in that case, they're just going to probably target Shawnee, and that's going to be the end of it. I mean, it basically just potentially guarantees a Final 4, which, on one hand, good for Parv to get there. On the other hand, probably just ends up with Luke in the final tribal council at that point. So, this, I don't think, looking at every single scenario, maybe not the smartest thing, but she also says, I felt forced to do this in the edit. So she was like, he's kind of forcing my hand. I really don't feel like I have a choice. So be it, I guess.
Yep.
I just okay. You said something in that little thing that I really want to highlight. You said this only really protects Luke. This protects Sari. I really think this protects Sari too. I think it protects Sari more than it protects Parvati for sure, because Parvati had the option of saying she had 2 ways of getting to the Final 4: staying through this vote without playing her idol and playing her idol at 5, or stealing Luke's idol tonight, playing it at 6, and then playing an idol at 5. Right? She's guaranteed 4 either way that way. But better option for her, she wants to make sure she can get there with Sari. Sari's probably not going to win immunity as much as she should have been able to win this one. So how do I protect her? Well, if Luke doesn't trust me, he's going to want to weaken me as much as possible. And by doing that, he would take out Sari. I think for her overall game, as much as it's weird, and yes, I do agree, Luke did kind of force her hand, and I wish I had that guy's personality, really. I really think Luke actually made a pretty solid move here after he screwed up and told Parvati he had an idol like an idiot.
I mean, I also just think he shouldn't have told Parvati he had an idol.
Oh, correct. I think that was stupid. I think this entire thing was redundant. But
True. But we go to Tribal, and Tribal is honestly redundant.
Yeah.
And, yeah. it's sadly unanimous. Please,
Yeah.
Dum dum da dum dum da dum 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 dum.
Oh,
That's public domain,
yeah.
bitches.
It is. And also a melody, I think, is just generally
Funeral marches.
the copyright law is not the important part right now. The important part is that we lost Lisa.
Yeah.
I'm very upset about it.
Can we talk about Lisa's final words real quick?
Please.
My favorite thing of Lisa saying, you know, I came back on the show. I'm so happy I got to play this game with Suri. That's even a weird sentence to say. I just played Survivor with Suri. But then her also saying, I'm excited that I got my torch snubbed. Just take that off the Survivor bucket list. A winner taking items off their Survivor bucket list made me laugh so hard. I love Lisa so much.
She is just one of the sweetest people. She is the epitome of just a good Survivor superfan for me.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all have not watched her season of Survivor, please, A, good luck finding it, but B, do yourself a service and go watch Lisa's season of Survivor, because she is one of my favorite Survivor players of all time. She is a sweetheart. She is an angel. I absolutely adore every single thing about this woman, and I loved getting to see her play Survivor again. I loved getting to see her live out a dream that so many of us have, of getting to play with so many of these icons. And it was so fun to see her get to experience this again. So
isn't it crazy that, spoilers for Survivor 50 for the people coming back from 49 real quick, isn't it crazy that someone we personally know is about to have the same lived experience of playing Survivor with Suri on Survivor 50? Like, I just can't imagine that feeling. And again, this is not meant to be a Suri thing. I love Suri, and no shit to her, but like, imagine winning your favorite show, getting called to represent your country from your small canceled franchise on a global stage with some of the most incredible players from around the world, and getting to be put not only on the same tribe, but working with the person who made you fall in love with that show in the first place.
Yeah.
Lisa, you lived the damn dream. I am so happy for you.
Yeah.
She also can say she got voted out by Suri. Take that one off the Survivor bucket list too.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got casually voted out by like at least 2, if not like very close to 3 people on the Survivor Australia Rushmore.
Yeah.
And then 1, if not 2 people on the American Rushmore.
Oh, yeah, no. I got voted out by 5 of the most iconic Survivor players in the entire world. Like, that's pretty cool.
You don't get that anywhere else, really.
No. And it really just has turned into Australian Survivor versus the US.
Which unfortunately doesn't surprise me.
I mean, when the US had 3 out of the 7
tomato,
slots in the world,
tomato, boo. Boo.
I mean, it is weird how basically it was like, oh yeah, once basically one international rep who wasn't from the US fell, excluding Rob, because Rob was just a mess. Once one fell, all of them fell in tandem, because but it just, like, we genuinely had a really good shot at seeing, like, international Survivor players who aren't from the US, like, make the finale. And to basically, like, yeah, so the past 2 episodes this week have been getting rid of all of them. Unfortunately, doesn't surprise me.
Yep, they said nope.
And the fact that all three of them basically got... Cass had a bit of an edit at one point. Tommy had a bit of an edit at one point. Lisa...
Had an edit.
all three of them kind of got very small edits, which on one hand, I understand because more than likely the people tuning into Australian Survivor have at best seen the American seasons, maybe because of how close it is, have seen a couple episodes of New Zealand, a couple episodes of South Africa. There's no way they've seen Finnish. There's no way they've seen Survivor Quebec. They were never going to get an edit. And that they did at all is honestly a miracle. And it sucks to say that.
I think they could have gotten an edit if they would have won or they would have made it deeper into the game. But unfortunately for all three of them, it was literally Tommy didn't do much outside of, from what we saw in the edit, one episode. Cass did a few things, but not a ton. Lisa contributed a lot, but all of her moves were made with two people who not only made it deeper into the game than she did, but are also two of the most iconic global players in the history of the show. I don't know what else they could have done, really.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
bye, girl.
Yeah.
And bye, Lewis.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this does not surprise me.
No, we kind of called it.
Well, with those eliminations, though, everyone else has at least one person in the final five. Logan and I have two. Jack, how are you feeling over there with the Serena dream?
I do think that Suri has at least a decent shot to make the end, but I also feel like next episode could be her last if they're like, well, Parvati and Suri didn't win immunity, we're just going to target Suri. And just going to be like, well, Parvati, we're throwing some votes on you, some votes on Suri, figure it out. And everyone just goes, fine, whatever. I can see some weird trick play to get Suri out next episode. I want her to win so bad because she deserves it. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. And I don't want to put that on the ether. So actually, no, Suri will win this season. Suri will win this season. Good. It should be corrected.
Knock on wood either way. Do you have wood around you to knock on?
My entire desk.
There you go, champ. Logan, how are we feeling over here living our poverty shallow fantasy at this point?
I mean, I've also got Janine, so I feel very great. I feel very lovely.
I have Shawnee, so I'm feeling great.
So, yeah, I feel lovely and wonderful and fantastic. And we'll see how the next episode goes. But with that, thank you for joining us for this lovely episode recap, y'all. We'll be back with yet another episode. So, let us know all your thoughts on this lovely episode 8 down in the comments below. Are you as upset about the outcome as I am? Or are you feeling your oats just as much as Brooke? Or are you as neutral as Jack and still holding out hope for Suri being the winner of this season? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Subscribe, like, and share on the way out. Go ahead and get your merch, lanagcreations@etsy.com. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here because we got more of the world to explore. So, cheers, y'all. Goodbye.
Cheers.